Greetings to the 13 tribes of Israel scattered in the four corners of the earth, and to the Gentiles called by the awesome fiery name of Abba Yahuwah Elohim. This is the awesome fiery name that is above all name, eternal. Shabbat Shalom, much love and much prosperity attend you formally, for you are the only reason of our time like truth, because the time is simply near. Just as we see the days goes by, so draw nigh the coming of Yahushua HaMashiach. Just as the Malach of Yahuwah saith unto Yehukanah, the Revelator, sealed not the prophecies of this book, for the time is simply near. Exactly what we are doing here, family, decoding end times prophecies, signs, and dreams, in preparing people like you, body like you, house like you, for the blessed returning of King Yahushua HaMashiach, our eternal bridegroom, to whom due eternally our worship, praise, glory, honor, service, love, power, riches, to the glory of his magnificent Abba Yehovah the Almighty, and to the Ruach HaKodesh, the very fire, the very DNA, I mean the true essence of Abba Yehovah, the no-go area, the don't touch me there, the unpardonable part of Abba Yehovah. That is the fear of Yehovah in you, and that's simply the fear of Abba Yehovah in me. That is to say, don't blaspheme. Don't blaspheme. No forgiveness. Yes, it is simply the Ruach HaKodesh. It's all inclusive. Our divine teacher, the power of revelator. Yes, sir, our comforter, our friend. Horrible Sindaya Bayaba. He is the one. Yes, to open that tablet of heaven where everything about you is being written. He is the one to unveil it unto you. Yes, the power of conception and also the power of glorified body. Above it all is the breath of eternal, the very oxygen that is going to drive every single thing on. The spirit never dies. He lives eternal. Rebo Shandalaba. The people that blasphemed, that is the result for link of fire. The folly deities, the blasphemed, that brings about the link of fire is the anger of Yehovah, the unforgiving part of him, the very dangerous part of him, the area you ought not to, not to. Rebo Santalaba, go now. That is the fear of Abba Yehovah, is the Ruach HaKodesh. Thank you, Abba Yehovah, for giving me your spirit. Yes, Abba Yehovah, you have been worshipped, praised, loved, served, honored, right in the temple of your eternal Hamid, your very Isha. For you are my eternal Abba, also my husband. I thank you, Abba, for giving me your word, King Yahushua HaMashiach, my eternal husband. Thank you, Abba. Thank you. I love you. Yes, I do. All right, now, family. Here we are in the heavenly court room of Abba Yahuwah with this powerful message titled for you and me. We have so much to cover today. I pray Abba Yahuwah also help me with the little space I have to be able to cover this very wonderful mystery. Yes, here we are in the heavenly court room of Abba Yahuwah with this powerful message titled for you and me. Husband, wife head can't stand without pillar the rib. Wife, his body can't see, hear, smell, talk without the head. Okay, there's the title. So I want to look into the spirituality. I mean, the divine head of the woman is the man. The divine head, of, the body of the man is the woman. Now, what are we saying? Before Abba Yehovah, woman don't have head. Who is Abba Yehovah seeing? A husband. Okay. And also, before Abba Yehovah, husband, you don't have body. Who Abba Yehovah is seeing? The wife. So I want to look into the spirituality of the divine head of the woman and also the divine body of the man. That is husband and wife. Okay. The governance system. Now, whatever we're going to be saying here today, it is based on spirituality, not this natural one. Said the flesh profit nothing. Also remember, the flesh can never inherit the kingdom of Yahuwah. Mm? But when you now dive into the spirituality, therefore you draw out the power, the spiritual meaning for the divine lead, understanding of it out. There you now know what it is. When Abayewa simply said, husband is the head of the wife, what was it talking about? When Abayewa also said, wife is the body of the husband, what was it speaking of? Are you ready for this, my bug? I can also say it's simple. It's here before you. It's in the word. It's in the Bible, the royal law. But maybe you have never come across where it's being, really a breakdown like this. Are you ready to do that? Yes, let's look into it through the eyes of the royal law. Prior to the title, let's put in our scriptures to validate this very awesome title. All right, now we start walking our way from this very scripture, divine breath of Abba Yahuwah. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahuwah, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Rightly dividing the word of truth. So what is opposite of truth? Lies. Some people wrongly divide this word of truth, but in a very wicked and perverse way. And we know truth is a deity. Always know that. I will not ignore that part. When you go to John 14, verses 6, Yahushua said, I'm the way, the truth. And John 8, 32, John chapter 8, 32, Yeshua knows the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So opposite of truth, it is a lie. So many people wrongly divide the word of truth and messed it up. So now I want to rightly divide the word of Yahushua HaMashiach, which is the biblical Messiah. How he put things in order. The divine head of the woman and the divine body of the husband. That's what I want to do over here. It simply means empowerment to the daughters and the sons of the kingdom. Now, who started dividing the word of Yahushua, the ordinances, the governing system of the royal law? When it comes to marriage, it is the first man. He wrongly divided the word of truth by not sin for his wife, and that is where the changes took place. That is why marriage is so messed up today in the whole world. Now became an abominable thing. When we see some, in fact, 99.9% marriage is under the governing system of the serpent, the exchange. All right, wrongly dividing the governing system of marriage. Marriage is wrongly being divided by the word of the serpent, not of that of Abba Yahuwah anymore. Okay. Now, how does it play out now? Listen and like what I put together. I want to give just some little inch of it. Okay. Now, woman is the body of the man. So Esther took place in Genesis 3. He now knocked out the woman out of her position. The serpent now took the place of the woman. That is why many men became skeleton. That is why many husbands is in hell. That is why many husbands couldn't get it right. Why? Because serpent has become his body, or their body. It also goes to the woman. All right. In Genesis 3, that is where the exchange took place. That the royal law said husband is the head of the wife. The serpent now said, no way, wrongly dividing now the marriage institution in its wickedness. The very one we see today, 99.9% marriages is on this governing serpent, is on serpent governing system, wrongly dividing the word of truth. Now, husband is the head of the wife, like the picture I put together. And now serpent took over in Genesis 3. He now said, no way, I'm gonna become the head of the woman. And why the woman is gonna be my body, planning out, working out for me, helping me. Okay, did you get it? Did you see this? Now she's in the vineyard of the serpent, studying every voice of serpent. Okay, that's what I want to be looking into, because something is going to be seen for her, hearing for her, smell for her, and talking for her, instead of the husband. Did you get that? She's just there now in the vineyard of serpent, doing the work of serpent, instead of doing the work of her husband. I say 99.9% of marriage is in this system, serpentine governing system. So right now, let's put in the scriptures. All right, let's start digging into it. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 3. Listen, this is the chains of order. But I won't have you know. You need to know. Are you ready to know? But I won't have you know. Do you want to know? But I won't have you know. Really, are you ready for this? Okay, now. But I won't have you know that the head of every man is Messiah. That is Messiah. And the head of every woman is the man. Did you get that? And the head of Messiah is Yahuwah himself. That is the chains of order. When you break one, all three is broken. But you see the head of the woman, it is the man. Let's put some man. All right now, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 23, I read, for the husband is the head of the wife. Did you get that? We are speaking of spirituality, not the physical one. The physical one is completely for this worldly system. But when we not come to the governing system, the divine head of the woman, the Bible says it is the husband. So what is in the head? What do the head contain? Today I'm going to be doing content. When I start doing live video, I will return back to this message and unveil in totality every mysteries of the head. But today I want to talk about the very simple one, the very one you and I can access so easily. Not the brain, okay, not the functioning system of the brain, not the numbers of the bones in the brain, not the spinal bone, okay, not every details, but I want to talk about the surface today. Okay, so when I come to start doing live video, we will be having much time to unveil what man indeed contain for woman. Also, women carry so much also for men as their body. Listen now, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as a Messiah is the head of the ministry, and he is the savior of the body. Did you get that? So husband is the savior of the body, just as Yahushua is the savior of the body, and husband is also like manner to his wife. How do the body needs to be saved? Because without the head, the body is so useless. And again, without the body, the head is also useless. Do you see how it works? So right now, let us begin to dig into the spirituality of the divine head of the wife is the husband. Now you heard already, not from me, but from the eternal royal law. People summer. All right now, Romans chapter 1, verses 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, be understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Now, did you see the Godhead over there? That is where we just read in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 3. That is the change of order in Godhead. Okay, now, the middle part, no, rather, yeah, the middle part is the man, which is the head of the woman. That's what we want to look into today. Now, it said the physical things that is being created by Abeyuwa to understand, to understand the spirituality or the spiritual aspect of humanity. He said we should get down to the word physical. Okay, now physically, how many duties do we have in the head? From there, you're going to get the clarity, the super duper office of a man. Now let's see. We got the two eyes, left and right. The two ears, left and right. The two nose, yes, left and right. And the mouth, that is 7 offices of a man for a woman. And we also have one called the spiritual eyes. Let me tell you, this your physical eyes doesn't work for you spiritual. That is why when you sleep, you close your two physical eyes, because this one only see this natural. But to see the spiritual is inside your forehead, called the sphenoid, no, excuse me, called pineal gland, or the third eye, or the eyes of your spirituality. That is the eyes that see visions for you. So for now, we want to first of all dig into the physical aspect, using the physical aspect to illustrate the spiritual. Now, prior to the royal law, husband being the divine head of the wife. So, what are we saying? Husband need to see for wife, because wife don't have head. Before Yahuwah, husband needs to hear for wife. Husband needs to speak, talk for wife. And husband needs to smell for wife. Spirituality. This is the ordinances of the royal law. So let's go now into the eyes. The physical eyes is going to be giving you understanding of the spiritual, to get the clarity of spirituality or spiritual eye. Look at what your physical eye do for you. Can you imagine the blind? They can see. Who is seeing for them is the one that is next to them. Now, what are we saying? Husband spiritually needs to do all this for the wife. Quickly, let us begin to put in the eyes. We'll start with the eyes. How husband needs to see for wife. Matthew chapter 13, verses 16. But blessed are your eyes. I hang it over there. But blessed are your eyes. What eyes is he speaking of? Because your eyes see. Okay, I hang it over there, the 17. For verily, okay, but blessed are your eyes. Okay, 17. For verily I say unto you that many prophets, oh, where is it? Yes. Okay. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see the things which ye see, and have not seen them. So we hang it. That is the part that pertaineth unto the eyes. Now, so what eyes are we talking about? Is it physical? Are we see? Is speaking of the spiritual eye. So let's see now how man ought to see for the wife. Wife, you don't have no head. So if you know you don't have no head, you will be, in fact, you will retain your lane. You will retain your office. You will stay in your lane and let your husband see the way for you. The journey of this world is so far. The journey of this world is so deep. The journey of this world is so dark. But if you allowed your head to assess it for you, it's going to see very clear unto you. If you allow his eyes to be blessed, as Yahushua said, this one's eyes are blessed because they know me. If you allow your husband, if you allow the blessing of Yahuwah to remain in your husband, therefore, he's going to be seeing all ways for you. And he's going to let you know danger is here, don't go there. But 99.9% of marriage here on earth, they don't follow this system, but rather the serpentine system. Genesis 3, this is where serpent took over, became the head of the woman to see for her. Let's quickly put that before we now go into the other side. Genesis 3, verses 6. When the woman saw that the tree was good, what did she use to saw? With her own eyes. So what happened? Everything got crushed. She did not allow the husband, the head, to see for her. She turned everything upside down. There she reigned the kingdom of Yahweh. I said 99.9% today is under this governance system, trying to put themselves in the place of man, the head. Now the eyes, spirituality. Job chapter 31, verses 1. I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a girl, or the woman. So what is he speaking of? He is speaking of what defices the body, what corrupts marriage, what destroys marriage. He being the head of the wife, I'm going to be only looking into my own wife. And when was that covenant took place? Genesis 2. That is where Abiyah gave the authority of the headship unto the man. You're going to be seen just to your wife only. That is the covenant. He said that is the covenant he made with his own eyes. I'm going to be seeing only my wife. Only my body, which is my wife. I ought not to see no one else. Okay? Now, when that road is secured, therefore his eyes is blessed. His eyes is blessed to look only to his own body, and he's going to be seeing way for his own body. And wherever danger, he's going to say, honey, don't go here and don't go there, because the covenant is secured his eyes to see only for his wife, not to include another thing. When you include another thing, that is the governing system of the serpent. He said, I make covenant with my own eye, never to look lustfully into another woman. Now, only my wife, because she is my body. I see only my body. And this my body, whatever I see for her, she gonna go for it. Tehillim, best known as Psalms, chapter 190, verses 18. Open thou my eyes that I may behold wonderful things. Okay, no, not wondrous. Okay, open thou my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of thy what law. Now, if a husband eyes is opened, of course you're going to be seeing things. That is how the marriage, how things needs to go, how things needs to be placed in order, because the Abba Yahuwah is there, the Messiah is there, and the husband is there. He is seen taking, Yahuwah will give to Yahushua, and Yahushua will give to the husband, and the husband will handle it to his wife. Open my eyes now. He was just busy all over to feed his wife with what Abba Yahuwah have for her. That is to see for the wife, because wife you cannot see. Now, only the man, the divine head of the woman, and this is the duty of the head for the body. Remember, the husband prayed for Abba Yahuwah to open his eyes in order for him to see wondrous things of Abba Yahuwah in his law. Now listen, love for what? Who is he going to pass it on to? Listen now, 1 Corinthians chapter 40, verses 33 through 35. For Yahuwah is not the author of confusion. No, you see your husband see. That is confusion. But of peace, as in all ministries of the saints, let your women keep silence in the ministry, for it is not permitted unto them to speak. But they are commanded to be under obedient, as also saith the law. 35. If they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the ministry. You are not the one to talk, because you are not the head. Rightly dividing the word of truth. Husband is the head. Okay? Now he said, let me see the wonderful things in your law, in order for him to teach his body. And the Lord says, if woman wants to let go to your husband, let him teach you, because he is the one that got that power of revelation. And he will distribute it unto his wife. That is the governing system of the royal marital covenant institution. But fortunate, 99.9% of marriage today are under the governing system of the serpent. Now, the sphineal bone, that is the spiritual eye, the pineal gland, the one they call the third eye, is over here. Matthew, husband got that. Matthew chapter 6, verses 22. The light of the body is the eye. Who is the body? Is the wife. And who got the eyes is the husband. And the light that is going to shine over the wife, who? The man. If therefore the eyes being single, that is the pineal gland, the third eye, the whole body shall be full of light. You get that? And whereby, but if the eyes is evil, which is the evil tree serpent, the whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thy body, what am I saying? If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is thy darkness? Darkness is a deity. Oh, the fallen deity. The serpent is the if unfortunate 99.9% today are under darkness in marriage. 99.9% marriages, they are under the serpent rules. Women don't want to submit. They don't follow this guideline. This instruction. Okay. So it said eyes is the light of the body, which is husband is the light to the body. Who is the body? The wife. The pineal gland. I bet you don't know the woman. Because there's no two heads. That is confusion. Before you what there's no two heads. It's only one. Okay, only one, which is the husband, and there's also no two body, only the woman. So Abiwa is going to be giving word to the wife. Not that he can also speak to the woman, but under the authority of her head, which is her husband. Which is her husband. It's not an author of confusion. Now we'll put some, or rather, let's go to the ear. You can also see this pineal gland. I just want to do it lightly because I'm running out of time again, and I've not even yet started. Oh my Abba. Psalm 90, oh no, where is it? Psalm 99 verses 1. You're going to see how Abba sits between the cherubim and the cherubs. Yeah, in like manner, this pineal gland, there's a bone on our head, forehead, carved as a throne, called the sphinary bone. The sphinary bone, that is where the third eye seated. That is the very one Abba is communicating with. Husband is the head. So now husband also need to hear for you. We are done with the eyes part. Matthew, again, we're here, chapter 30, verses 16. We read the part of the eyes already. We want to also read the part of the ears. Blessed is their eyes, blessed are their eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Okay, now let us also see, husband being the head of the wife, he needs to hear for her. You don't go for the voice, sempetan voice. You go only for the voice of your husband. The two ears part, left and right eyes, that is the office of a husband. You need to see for the both side for his wife. And also ears, left and right ears. The husband also needs to hear for the wife as the head, as her head. Now, Yeshayahu, best known as Isaiah, chapter 30, verses 21, and thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left, you see the two ears is going to be hearing the voice of Abiyahu and said, do it this way. Giving instruction just like Job had. Abiyahu giving the instruction, build your ark in this manner. He gave him every details of the ark and he did it. And that is what husband represents for the wife. Did you hear anything of Job's wife over there? No, because husband hear. Spirituality, Abiyahu don't know woman, no two heads over there. He know woman as a body, he know man as the head. That's it. That's how it works. There's no two bed, no two person over there. He said two of them shall become one. He put the head, he fixed it on the body. That's it. So, wayward wife, your husband's head is crying on the floor. Why you became Bambiala, blind, you can see. You are deaf, you can hear. You are mute, you can speak. You are so fat, your nose is dead, you can't smell nothing. 99.9% of marriages today here on earth, this is what they are into. And this is what they are under. John chapter 10, verses 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Who is the sheep? And Yahuwah said, the shepherd of my sheep are male. Male is the one to hear. It's precisely husband. That is what we are looking into. Okay. Listen to verses 5. That same chapter. John chapter 10, verses 5. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him. For they know not the voice of strangers. They can't hear the voice of strangers. Who is the stranger? It is the serpent in Genesis 3. But unfortunately, 99.9% marriages today hear the voice of stranger. They do according to the voice of stranger. They do things just as the stranger want them to do it. That is the one. In fact, serpent has become the head of almost all women here on earth. That is why marriage is crushed. That is why, because the foundation of marriage has already been destroyed. But what are we saying? We are preparing the way because Yahushua is the one to fix it back again. Is the one to fix it back again. Mark chapter 4, verses 23. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. All of us have ear. What ears? He's speaking about the spiritual ears, which is the husband for the wife. Genesis 3 1 and 2. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Jehovah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Jehovah said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Listen, the woman hear for herself. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the garden, of the trees of the garden, but except this. And she hear for herself. And what follows after that? Destruction, calamity. This brings about link of fire. And unfortunate 99.9% of marriages here on earth today are under this governance system whereby women here for themselves. They don't allow their husband not to be the spiritual leads, to be the spiritual drive in order for the foundation to still be retained. Rather they hear from themselves. And when they hear for themselves, what follows? Simply destruction. I think I'm only going to be talking in order for us to quickly also spread to the part of the woman. Now I want to go into the talk. Now this is what Proverbs says about speak. Proverbs 13 verses 3. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Who did that? Genesis 3. Because she didn't shut up for the man to face his enemy, the dragon, the serpent. Rather, she not said, this heavy trailer, this heavy demon, this high-ranking demon, I'm the super mama to face. And she got crushed. She have destruction. And like I said, 99.9% marriages here on earth today are under that governance system. That is why marriage is no big day. That is why there is no beauty of marriage. It's so ugly now. You see, you said, Sophia Kwa. Thank you, I'm on my own. Yeah, because nothing good to talk about it. They are killing one another because serpent is the one riding in it. Psalm 141 verses 3. Set a watch, O Yehovah, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. This is the man. Because if a serpent came, if these rules and regulations were canty over there in the first marriage, so the woman should have stepped back and the husband takes over. Only one bone of a man formed the totality of the woman. So from eternity to eternity, man is ever wiser, understanding, powerful than the woman. So she put her chest and pump it up and said, I'm the one to kick this Goliath. And you now push the man back. Exactly what is going on today in the marriage, because this is what husband contain. The divine head of the wife is the husband. If any situation, can you just shut up, you let the man speak, of course the right word is going to come in. Everything, details that needs to establish whatever. I bet you what will just be, it will just give it to me, it will just be overflowing. Okay? But the serpent leads captured the whole world, and that is what Psalm 11 verses 3 say, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? Nothing, absolute. Because the foundations of marriage has already been crushed in Genesis 3. But Yahweh is about to make it all anew again, for husband to take fully charge of his body. Genesis 25, I think verses 21. And Isaac, best known as Isaac, entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Who did the prayer? Who opened his mouth? Who speak? And Psalm 71 verses 8 said, Abiyahu should let praise, overflow from his mouth. The man did it. The man speak to Yahweh on his wife's behalf. And Abiyahu respond, why? Because the man is the one to speak. He's the head to talk to Yahweh. And Yahweh is going to answer. Okay? We are looking into the divine lead, the divine head of the wife. Now, Matthew chapter 15 verses 11. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. Now, who come from the man? It is the woman. Woman was the one who defied the man. As soon as she ate, and she also gave to the man, Genesis 3, because she have already ate the least of serpent, and she now said, husband, come, this is how I want us to do it. This is how I want us to run this, company. Okay, I'm going to be riding on you. And the man take the instruction and followed her. And he said that not defies the man. Not what the man says defies him not, because what he's going to say, that is what is right. But the one the woman gave unto him. Okay? Not what the man put in, but what came out from the man. The woman came from the man. He now said, this is the bone of my bone, and this is the flesh of my flesh. And she now gave the teaching in Genesis 3. The royal also, when she ate, she also gave her husband to eat. And the husband also did the same. And that kills them. That defies them. But if she allows the man to be all this for her, I think the Garden of Eden should have still be here today. Now the two nose, we got there. Now what is the nose, and what is the part of the nose? It's to discern, to smell the tricks of the enemy. Yes, to smell the wickedness of the enemy. When you smell it, you're gonna be letting your wife know, now this area don't go, this friend, don't move, because you smell their tricks already. Husband is all this for the wife. Husband is to smell the danger. Husband is to perceive the planks of the enemy. Not because he want to oppress the wife. No, that is his own Yahuwah giving office for the wife. Because you came from him. You are just an assistant. You are his body. So you should have been taking everything he wants you to do. Mm-hmm. Now you can read Genesis chapter 8 verses 21. YAHUAH'S smell. And as promised, I said, no, this is how I want it to be. A husband needs to smell and also say, yes, this is how I want things to be run. But if you smell for yourself, that is why when destruction stood before the woman, she couldn't discern it. She thought she was smart, but she got crushed. And that brings about the link of fire. And 99.9% today marriages on earth are undergoing this very destruction. And it is our prayer that YAHUAH should bring restoration fast. Hebrews chapter 5 verses 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. The tree of the knowledge of evil we are just there standing before the woman. He want to rob, he want to steal, want to kill, want to destroy. She couldn't smell it. She became a stubborn block for the husband to smell it as the head. So that was why destruction came and destroy both. Because you can't destroy the head, the body, and still have the head. You can't destroy the head and still have the body. Now the two goes down. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verses 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his what devices. If you have that spirit of discernment, that is to smell their tricks far miles away, fearful, you will not be ignorant. The woman is so ignorant of the devices of Satan. Why? Because we don't have the nose to smell. Because we are not the head. The husband is the head to smell for you. Now, don't get it twisted. The woman that is not married, of course, spiritually, Messiah is your husband. It's going to be all this for you. It's going to be all this for you. So, practically, we are done with the male side, husband side precisely. Let's quickly rush down. I only have about, 9 minutes to go. Let's look into the woman's own. It's called Tane. No room to deliberate at all on that of the woman. But when we get the head right, the body will be receptive. If the head is okay, then the body will be full of light. The head is the problem. Do you allow your head to rule over you as a wife? If you allow him to do so, fearful, you may say your whole body is going to be filled with light. So wife is the body, so of the husband. The two hands, the two legs, the heart, the soul. The woman carries that. Woman is the heart. A woman is the soul. While husband is the spirit, which is the head, the life. A woman is three components of human: spirit, soul, and body. And husband have the spirit. And woman have the heart, because she is from the upper down. From the neck is the man. And from the shoulder downwards is the woman. The two hands is a woman. The two legs is a woman. So only that one we will be able to look into. And the heart, very important, is the woman. And that is the body. The soul is the woman of a man. So what is the duty of the soul? And let's do that. And the two hands and the two legs, let's do that. So what does hand do? What does hand do? Is to walk. What does the leg do? Is to carry. And what about the heart? Is to love. Now, Genesis 21, chapter 2, verses 21. The man I say is the bone of my bone. So what does bone do? Is the pillar to stand the house. Is the pillar to stand the head of the man. Is the pillar to build a very strong wall in the marriage. Bone never decayed, always know that. The flesh does. But you, the bone, nothing absolute should have been breaking down the bone, because you are the very strong bone behind the man that carries the man, that work for the man, that labor for the man. In fact, Proverbs chapter 31, verses 10 through 31 have that answer for you. Go and see what woman represent for a man. You need to work your life. You need to labor your life. Night and day for the man to see that the kingdom really come into heaven on earth. Everything will rust, but the bone stand eternal. This is how strong YAHUAH has made you. You are the pillar that stood the house. Then, why are you giving this great, unique glory unto the serpent? Building the empire of destruction instead of you building your husband's empire? This is what you are for the man, the body. Mark chapter 12, verses 30, we want to deal with the heart. And thou shalt love YAHUAH thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. So for man to love him, it takes a woman. Because you carry that. That is with you, woman. And now, unfortunately, serpent represent all this for the man. Because serpent now say is the body for the man. And woman, he now says the head for the woman. Now, for man to love YAHUAH, it's the key is with a woman. For man to be all that to heaven, the key is the woman. So why is the key with the woman? Genesis 3 have that answer for you. Say it's the woman that you put here. Because the woman taught the man rebelliousness. He taught the man to disagree with YAHUAH. He taught the man not to love YAHUAH anymore. Let's follow this new wisdom, this new understanding, this new teaching of this serpent. Let's go there. The woman stole the heart of the man away and now begin to use it for physics today as the body. And the whole body is full of darkness. The body of the man is full of darkness. Quickly, I just want to put this because I have so much on this. But no room at all. I think I think I need to cut the scripture. I'm sorry. Deuteronomy chapter 4:29. You can also read. For the hand. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verses 10. The hand that does not work cannot eat. When you also go to Isaiah chapter 4 verses 1, women also taught the men how to be lazy. And say, I'm not a super D feminist. Just give us your name. We're going to provide food and clothes for you. We're going to be doing that. Exchange in marriage. The hand that does not work cannot eat. Proverbs, what does hand do is to build. Proverbs chapter 40 verses 1. A wise woman uses her own hand to build a house. Why the foolish one uses her own hand to destroy it. Now Exodus 4 verses 1 through 14. For the man to do wonders is in the hands of the woman. But the first man was being stopped from that wonders because he carried the divinity. That little fluid called sperm. It should have been wonders of the man first time. You see the name he gave to all animals today. Before the woman came, they all stand. But when she came, she stopped the other part of it. And simply is not using that nonsense, that glory for his nonsense. You see? So your hand is to work. Many men has become central. Still working in the vineyard of serpent because of the crush. Okay, I just want to do it simple. Okay, I call that out. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verses 8. What was there? Let me quickly see. Yeah, 1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 8 speaks of If you don't work, hand that does not work cannot eat. So that is the job of the hand. Let me just quickly put out the scriptures. What was the other part? Oh my Abba. Yes, instruction. Yeah, Proverbs chapter 12, verses 1. Instruction, you need to follow the instruction. Now, for the legs part, Proverbs 20, verses 4. Let me see. Yeah, that's the go for the hand. So if you don't work when harvest time come, you're going to be begging for food. Yes. Daniel chapter for the legs. Now, Daniel chapter 11, verses 3. What does the leg do? It is to rule. But we see the men were crippled in Genesis 3 is to stand and rule. Okay, for man to rule. That is in the hands of woman. Okay. And Matthew 24:15, yes, it said, when you see the abomination of desolation, stand. That is when you begin to see rule run for your life. Okay. Genesis 3:15, we see it says somebody is going to buy the field of the man. Romans 16, verses 20, Yahweh said he's going to crush the head of the serpent under the feet of the man that needs to rule. Okay. Matthew 7:24 through 27, that is the house, built on top of the sand, which is the flesh, destroyed. It can't stand, not at all. 12, verses 25. Coming. Yes, Matthew chapter 12, verses 25. He hurt me, I couldn't liberate on the woman's part, but I will do it again. Yahushua make it so clear, any house that divided against himself shall not stand. Head and body is one house. But when you now begin to do it the other way around, the kingdom is going to be destroyed. It can't stand. That is the marriage we are speaking of here. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 20, where is it? 14 through 23. You're going to see the duty of every part of the body. Everyone have their own seat to take. Now, John chapter 4, verses 16 through 18, Messiah said to the woman, go and call me your husband, because it's only your husband I know. I want to communicate with your husband. When he saw the woman of Samaria, go and call me your husband, because husband is the head. I need your husband. Now, Zechariah chapter 5, there you see the feminist spirit, the stony heart. Okay, woman being raised above the clouds. In fact, even more than the man. That is what brings destruction about marriage. Okay, the body is not playing a part, and the body also don't allow the head to play his part. And 99.9% of marriages today here on earth is under this destruction of the devil. But Yahuwah will redo it again. It will make it all anew again. Quickly, this is what I want to put at the divine head of the wife and the divine body of the husband. We have done, but I will return back.